Welcome back to Enigma Garage. Let's work on an LS swapped Ranger. So as you guys saw, we have the wiring for the MS3X, and we are going to wire up this LS because I need a truck on the road. I was planning on going through the ECU hole, but it does not go through the glove box. I'm probably going to go down here through the rest of where that wiring is going through. And I do have it apart up here. So there's a cover where the airbag should be, and it's a perfect spot for an ECU to go. So that's where I'm going to mount it. I'll probably make a nice mounting bracket for it. I got the glove box dropped so I can get to the hole down there for all the routing. So I'll bring it up and around because there's not much of a hole down that way, but there's a bigger hole over here for the wiring to go through. So I'm gonna start probably tracing some wiring out for this. And I was looking at the throttle cable. I'll probably have to switch over. I might just take off this F-body cable and see if that works and measure it, see if it doesn't, go to another cable, go to the forum, see if I can give anybody some shout outs. For a cable recommendation, I do have my clutch already hooked up over here, and the really awesome thing is the fuse box power is right here. So when I run the starter wire, or sorry, the battery wire over to here and then the starter wire, then yeah, it's done. The truck's gonna have power. I am planning on going to the junkyard and getting the other side connector, because when I sold the motor, I gave him the harness. So I'll chop one of those off, and I'm going to try to power the injectors, the coils, everything through the OEM fuse box to keep wiring down, and then just Megasquirt necessities over this way for the engine to be running. Of course, manual transmission, no transmission stuff needs to be done, and I'm probably going to put the battery over in the corner because no heat and AC. And for the fuel filter, it is down here on the rail, and then of course the lines were cut right here because I'm not going to use those. So I'm going to go before the filter, and I'm going to probably get another one of these Corvette fuel pressure regulators slash filters. So I'm going to get one of those and then run a small AN line up to the rails. I'll probably do it through the backside and put the connector over here and then cap that side. Not sure yet. Might get a AN rail kit just to go on it with the stubby 90s, just to give me some more clearance back here. Something I'm kind of thinking about. But first, yeah, let's run some wiring and go from there. So we have the instructions here, and I have all the grounds pulled out of both harnesses. We have the flex fuel input. We have injectors, coils, second O2, cam sensor, and what was the blue again? I guess that is the O2 right there. The orange is flex fuel. So yep, so that's really all we need for the X version. And the regular one, we have the crank sensor, O2 sensor, blue, which would be TPS, and then we have the 4 here for IACV, coolant, and air temp, which I did forget the gray for the 5-volt reference and the sensor ground. So I'll pull those two through, and that's really going to be the whole harness right there. The rest of it will stay in the car. Grounds will just come up to the battery. Power wire will just come straight up to the battery. Fuel pump, which is purple, will stay in there because it's got to go back underneath the truck. Actually, might run it out, down, and over. Not sure yet. We'll figure that out, but really, that's all we need to do to pull through for the engine. So here we have the first harness loom. It's kind of just put here about the intake now. I think I'm going to run it under the center, come out of the middle of each side to go to the injectors, kind of like just branch off here to the coil plug and all the injectors. This side, I might have it just come out and under for these two and the temp sensor that'll be on the underside. Same thing out the middle, branch off here. We just have the other harness over here. I need to kind of separate. Goes through down here and on the inside of the car. Comes from that hole, goes up right here, and comes out with enough turn so we can go right into the side of the ECU. These are all the extras except for the power. I do need to pull the power back through. Power will go through that way, and where the battery is going to be. Yeah, let's get the second harness in. This is going to be one of the easiest wiring jobs that I've done. Tuck it all straight down the middle, splay everything where we need it to go, zip tie it all together. I do need to get that motor mount all the way through, and also this side, before I go too crazy with it, because yeah, I only have it started. So I'll probably try to work on that and then zip tie some wires together. We've got the engine hoist back out on the back side. I do have this all loosened up. There we go, breaking the GoPro again. So, a little trick for you guys. If you grind a 45 into the bolt, because this one was just straight. So I ground that, cleaned up the threads. So I should be able to just hammer it home, and it should self-align in there so I can tighten everything back up. I've already done this side right here, and it worked out just fine. We have the nut on the back side, it's through. I need to tighten up all the bolts. Let's get to it. Engine mounts are completely tight. So I can work on the transmission mount whenever I want to. But for now, got to get this hoist back over there for working on the RX-8 Part Due. And yeah, I'll see what I'm doing next. So we've got the heads cleaned off, the spacers on, and the intake sitting on top of it. It is not going back far enough, and sadly, it is hitting the firewall just a little bit. Had to move the crossover to the front. I'll put a dead cap on this side, and then we'll do a hard 90 on the other. But we are going to get our handy little friend here, and we are going to clearance. Oop, wrong drawer. Oh, my little friend's missing. Where's my little friend? Say hello to my little friend. Yep. Let's go make some room. I feel like Thor. And we have clearanced it. Should be fine. Had my 2 marks there. Alright, let's put it back on. We have way more clearance down there. Everything's fine. And of course, I get carried away, like always. So, down pipe that way, same thing on the other side. Down pipe that way. Wiring up under the intake. Like it's turning out pretty good. I do need to space up the turbos, because we do have this one that's almost an inch lower. I think I'm gonna put a 1/4 inch spacer on this one to bring it up, and then a 1 inch spacer over here, maybe 1 and 1/4. Not sure. I'll have to do some measurements, but definitely want them sticking up out of the hood. That is a crazy look. Oh yeah. And I should have enough room for the radiator to go in. Still got plenty of room down there. Gonna get a Explorer radiator. Got plenty of room for like everything. I can probably even put the battery right back here. I might just do that. So I'll still have enough room behind the battery to go down. I don't know. I'll figure something out though. That looks wicked. What do you guys think? Should I turn them down and hide them so it looks factory and they're hidden away and just clearance down underneath here, or up and out? I'll have to make intercooler piping anyways. Well, I don't know. She's going to be on 85, so might be able to run for a while with just a Y pipe into here, into the throttle body. So I might just do that. No intercooler for a little bit. It's going to be fresh air anyways. Cut some holes in the hood. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to cover them if ever it's raining. We'll be able to drive in the rain. That would suck. But yeah, you guys let me know. I need to order some bolts to hold down the intake. I need to go to the junkyard, get a whole bunch of pigtails so I can start splicing all of this in. I love how the front of those look. That is sweet. So, oh yeah. I don't know if I showed you guys that, but both the motor mounts are in. In the trans mount, I was working in here. I took off the access cover, and for everybody, there's the AR5 location in the shift tunnel. I need to extend this up probably another half a foot to a foot to make that manageable. And there's the ECU sitting in the little cubby hole. All the wires that I'm not going to need, but I don't want to cut the harness in case I ever do get rid of this. I can just pull the harness out of it and repin it for another job. Let's tuck that away and put the panel on, see what it looks like. In here will look completely factory. So take this off. Yeah, everything fits perfectly in there. That works out just great. And then I'll run a USB to maybe at the bottom. Might get rid of the touch, or might get rid of this radio and get a touch screen, one of the ones that kind of come out and up, and then I can put Megasquirt's OS on it, or not OS, the one I have in the RX-8. Put that one in here so I can have a live data of what's going on. And there is an output shaft on the, or output shaft sensor on the AR5. The PT4 Logic, I think, is a purple. That's going to go to that so I can see how fast that I'm going. So I can have my speed, have everything right there. And RPMs, I'll try to figure out which wire. I'll look in all data for everybody too and see what this connector is right here. And see if I can do the Megasquirt out, which I'll have to grab another one of those blue wires and do tack out and go into the correct pin here. And maybe even have the tack on the dash working if it's just a regular signal like that and I can manipulate it. So yeah, I'm going to call this weekend quits. It's been a long weekend, very dirty weekend. A lot of progress and trying to get a truck on the road and waiting on the rear end kit for Ronin. Alright guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.